Imagine two families. One lives in 1965. The father works a single job, the mother stays home, and somehow they can afford a house, groceries, a family vacation, and still put money into savings. Now imagine a family today. Both parents work full-time. They make nearly twice as much money. Yet they struggle to pay the mortgage, rely on credit cards, and panic whenever an unexpected bill appears. So what happened? Why does it feel like two incomes buy less than one used to? The answer is not that people today are lazy or bad with money. The answer is that the economy changed. The moment households started earning two incomes, prices, expectations, and daily life changed with them. And in this video, we are going to break down exactly how that happened. For decades, people have looked back at the past and wondered why life seemed easier for the middle class. A single paycheck once supported an entire household. Today, even two paychecks often are not enough. To understand why, we need to look at what life really looked like in the past, what changed when two incomes became normal, and why the modern middle class feels trapped in a system built around earning more and spending more. In the 1960s, a typical middle-class family lived very differently from the average family today. Their home was much smaller, usually around 2,500 square feet. It had 3 small bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a tiny kitchen, and maybe a single-car garage. There was no home office, no giant master bedroom, no walk-in closet, and no extra storage room. Most families only owned 1 car. Some did not own a car at all. Vacations were simple and local. Instead of flying across the country, families drove to a nearby lake, beach, or national. Their budget was also simpler. Most of their money went toward housing, food, and transportation. The rest covered clothing, utilities, and other basic needs. Life looked affordable because the standard of living was modest. Families had less space, fewer possessions, and lower expectations. People often say that the middle class used to survive on 1 income, but that is not completely true. There may have been only 1 paycheck coming into the house, but there were still 2 people working. One person earned the money, the other made sure less of it was spent. The stay-at-home parent, usually the mother, acted like the manager of the household. She cooked every meal, packed lunches, cleaned the house, did the laundry, watched the children, planned groceries, and managed the family schedule. That work saved the household an enormous amount of money. Families did not need daycare, takeout, cleaning services, or after-school programs. In modern dollars, childcare alone can cost thousands every year. The old middle-class lifestyle worked because it combined 1 income with a second person whose full-time job was reducing the family's expenses. Even though the old system worked financially, it came with a serious problem. The person who stayed home depended completely on the person who earned the money. In most families, that meant women depended on men. For many years, women could not open a bank account, get a loan, or apply for credit without permission. They had very little financial independence. During World War II, millions of women entered the workforce. They earned their own money, gained independence, and discovered that they wanted more control over their lives. By the 1960s and 1970s, women began pushing for equal rights, equal pay, and equal opportunity. New laws made it easier for women to work, earn income, and build careers. 2-income households did not become common because people wanted more money. They became common because people wanted more freedom and equality. At first, having 2 incomes seemed like a huge advantage. If 1 paycheck could support a family, then surely 2 paychecks should make life easy. But the opposite happened. As more households had extra money, prices began to rise. The clearest example is housing. Imagine 2 families trying to buy the same house. If both families only have 1 income, they can only bid so much. But if one family suddenly has 2 incomes, they can offer more money and outbid the other family. Soon, every family needs 2 incomes just to compete. Then 2-income families begin competing against each other, pushing prices even higher. The house did not become more valuable. People simply had more money to spend. The second income stopped being an advantage and became a requirement. 2 incomes did not just increase prices, they also created entirely new expenses. When both adults work, the household often needs 2 cars instead of 1. That means 2 car payments, 2 insurance bills, and twice the gas. Now there may also be 2 student loan payments, 2 wardrobes for work, and more money spent on commuting and eating outside the home. Then there is childcare. When nobody stays home, young children need daycare, and older children need after-school care. For many families, that becomes one of the biggest bills in the entire budget. The second paycheck often feels much smaller once all those extra costs are removed. In many cases, people are not using the second income to get ahead. They are using it to pay for the new expenses created by needing that second income in the first place. Eventually, society changed so much that it became almost impossible to return to the old system. Housing prices, childcare costs, and daily life are now designed around the assumption that most families have two incomes. At the same time, people have become used to larger houses, multiple cars, bigger vacations, and more convenience. Most adults also spend years building careers and getting an education. Few people want to leave the workforce after working so hard to build a career. That means modern households become dependent on two incomes. And that creates risk. If one person loses a job, the entire family budget can collapse because every bill was based on two paychecks. What began as a way to create more freedom slowly turned into a system where families need both incomes simply to survive. When people struggle financially, they often focus on small expenses. They try to save money by skipping coffee, cancelling subscriptions, or eating out less. Those things matter, but they are not where the real game is won. The biggest expenses in almost every household are housing, transportation, food, and childcare. Those categories often make up more than half of a family's entire budget. That means the smartest financial decisions are not about tiny daily purchases. They are about choosing a smaller home, driving cheaper cars, cooking more meals at home, or finding ways to reduce childcare costs. A person who saves hundreds every month on housing will always come out ahead of someone who saves a few dollars on coffee. If you want to survive in this economy, focus on the biggest expenses first. Modern life forces people to make one important choice over and over again. You can save money, or you can save time. You can cook dinner at home and spend less, or you can order food and save an hour. You can clean your own house and do your own laundry, or you can pay someone else to do it. Neither choice is wrong. The problem is that many people make those choices automatically without thinking about what matters most. Some people spend money because they are too exhausted to do everything themselves. Others spend all their time trying to save money and end up burned out. The key is to choose intentionally. Decide what matters most to you. Protect your time where it matters and save money where it matters. That balance is one of the most important skills in the modern economy. The biggest lesson from all of this is that modern life has become more complicated. If you are not careful, the system will quietly design your life for you. It will tell you how big your house should be, how many cars you need, what kind of job you should have, and how much you should spend. But just because everyone else lives that way does not mean you have to. You can choose a smaller home. You can live closer to work. You can decide that having more free time matters more than making more money. The middle class feels poorer today because people are trapped in a cycle of bigger expectations and bigger expenses. The way out is not always to earn more. Sometimes the way out is to build a life around your values instead of around the pressures of modern society. So, did two incomes make the middle class poorer? Not directly. Two incomes created more opportunity, more equality, and more freedom. But they also changed the economy. Prices rose. New expenses appeared, expectations grew, and over time, the second income stopped feeling like a bonus and started feeling like a necessity. The modern middle class is not failing because people are lazy or irresponsible. It is struggling because the rules of the game changed, and if we want to do better, we first have to understand how that happened. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to subscribe and let me know what topic you want next. And if you have ever wondered why so many people today feel like they are working harder but getting less, now you know. It is not just you, it is the system. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.